This is me.
Hey there.
And this is my real certification to practice law in the state of New York.
How did this
Get here? Not important. And this is the Dark Brotherhood, mysterious professional assassins of Skyrim. Should you choose to join their organization, you'll be put on a series of quests that almost all involve taking out innocent people.
Objection!
Or do they? I mean, everyone deserves a defense, right? Maybe the Dark Brotherhood aren't the killers that we take them for. And so, naturally, to prove their innocence, I wanted to see if I could use the skills and knowledge I've gained as a full-time criminal defense attorney to complete the entirety of the Dark Brotherhood questline without committing a single murder. For every quest in the line, we're going to do an in-depth legal analysis to see if we can beat it without doing something that would get us convicted based on the real-life definition of murder. Every time we have to kill someone along the way, we're going to try to mount the best legal defense we possibly can given the circumstances. And if we're fairly certain that that defense would be successful, we're going to move on. If, however, there's no possible way to beat the quest without doing something that would definitely get us convicted of murder, then the run is over. This means we're going to have to get into stuff like statutes and case law and affirmative defenses and all that fun stuff that's bad for retention. But don't worry, I'm going to try to keep it light and interesting. Also, US law is going to govern for this whole video, specifically New York law where applicable, because that's where I'm licensed and that's what I know. So picture for the purposes of this video that Skyrim is somewhere around here-ish. Alright, cool. Also, quick disclaimer, this video is for education and entertainment purposes only. There is no legal advice being given at any point during this video. If you have a real case in real life, please talk to a lawyer who can actually look at your case and your fact pattern and not a video about Skyrim gameplay. Again, no advice, only entertainment, only education. Please don't sue me. Cool? Cool. Alright, so without any further ado, let's get into it. So, first part of the game proceeds as normal. We hop off the cart, appropriately name ourselves, and get denied due process.
He's not on the list.
Forget the list. He goes to the block.
I'm sorry.
Alduin thankfully swoops in to preserve our right to appeal, and just like that, we have our first major decision to make, and boy, is it a head-scratcher. Do we go with the Stormcloaks, who didn't just try to chop our heads schmoove off, or the Imperials, who did? Now, typically for me, that's a pretty easy call, but unfortunately, for this run in particular, it's important to note that the Stormcloaks are not exactly a non-violent organization. Now, if you side with the Stormcloaks, you can make it through the whole keep without killing anybody personally, but Ralof, on the other hand, is going to kill a lot of people, and you still have to help him open doors and not get crushed by a dragon and whatnot. So sure, we don't have to kill anybody, but we might still be in trouble because of a little thing called accomplice liability. Every state has some theory of accomplice liability. New York's can be found in Penal Law Section 20.00, which basically says that when a person commits a crime and another intentionally aids them in doing so, both parties are liable for the commission of that crime. Now, importantly, the accomplice has to share the criminal mental state of the person actually committing the offense. Unfortunately, with our Helgen Keep prison break, mental state is not difficult to prove at all. You're trying to escape the jail, and the guards are trying to stop you. Obviously, you want them dead. Goes without saying, that's not a good look. On the other hand, though, if you go with Hadvar, then everyone who attacks you is going to be a bunch of escaped criminals who all swung first. Therefore, we have no choice but to side with the Imperials. A decision that, as you'll come to see, I've never actually made before in this game.
Stormcloaks. Maybe we can reason with them.
Yeah.
Imperial dogs!
Oh. Yeah, you know what? Reasonable. You're swinging on me. It's not my fault anymore. You did not swing on me. So, you guys can... Oh, God. You may be... Oh. Okay. You guys can have it.
This ends now.
Jesus. Hey, whoa. Oh, they got him. Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah, bro, how do you think you're on the right side when, like, you start the game and one of the first people that follows you into battle is named Torturer's Assistant? Like, the game's trying to tell you something, right?
There's no escape.
You got this, buddy. Fortunately, you do have it. God, it's so tempting. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Now, it's very important for this run that I have sneak at a very high level. If some extremely unfortunate fate happens to befall any of the perfectly good people of Skyrim while completing this run that had nothing to do with me, I'm gonna need some stealth to be able to escape that situation without having to confront any of that unfortunate person's friends and family. To get this done, we're gonna go ahead and exploit the Bear Cave stealth glitch, which, for those of you who don't know, you just sort of take a dagger, crouch down, and wail on whoever it is that brought you through the rest of the keep, which typically is pretty boring, but this time... Now this is going to be my favorite part. Usually I feel bad. Not this time.
Hold up. There's a bear just ahead. Take it nice and slow.
Oh, I'm in no rush. After leveling up both one-handed and sneak to better help us in this run, we go ahead and exit the dungeon, make our way over to the standing stones, and walk over to Riverwood, where I encounter some content that I genuinely have never seen before. This will be a mage build. We'll see why as we keep going. But it's a run necessity. And this lets out right into Riften. Or not Riften, what the fuck is this? This ain't Riften. This is Riverwood. Alright, Riverwood. Oh.
New to Riverwood? If you're looking for work, go see Hod at the mill.
Work?
What to you, boy?
A job
Are
application?
you in some kind of trouble? Keep your voice down. I'm fine, but we should go inside
I
to
didn't
talk.
know that this happens
What's
if
going
you
on?
don't kill him.
Who's this? I'm glad to help however I can.
Should I take his wedding ring? Is that what that is? I could just do that? First, you have any supplies I could take?
Like I said, I'm glad to help in any way I can.
Oh, yeah?
Help yourself to whatever you need.
No. He's already took everything. Alright. Can I use your forge, too?
I see no harm in it. If you have the,
Yeah, of course
the
you don't.
grindstone.
Oh, dude, no wonder this
What are
guy
you doing
likes
that
the
for?
Imperials, bro. He's a little bitch. Hey, give me your boots.
Can I help you?
Yeah, you can help me. What else we got? You could take his kids' clothes? No wonder you like the Imperials, bro. It's all starting to make sense. It's all coming together. After leaving our most gracious host, we take a trip over to Whiterun, help the companions, kill a giant, and hop on the cart to
Need a ride?
Windhelm.
Where do you want to
Now,
go?
we need to get to Windhelm because to start the Dark Brotherhood questline, we need to go to the home of Aventus Aretino, who can be found in his living room doing a...
Fear.
Oh.
It worked! I knew you'd come. I just knew it! An assassin from the Dark Brotherhood. Of course you are.
Me?
I prayed.
Assassin?
came,
I think you
and now
got
you'll
think you
accept
got the
my
wrong
contract.
guy. Yeah,
My
nah.
mother, she died. The headmistress is an evil, cruel woman. They call her Grella the Kind, but she's not kind. She's terrible to all of us.
That sounds
So I
like
ran away
a
and came
personal
home
problem.
and performed the Black Sacrament. Now you're here, and you could kill Grella the Kind.
Yeah, about that. Okay, maybe this is not as bad as it might seem. Maybe we could go over to Grelod's place in Riften and find some convenient contrivance that ends up with her dead. But maybe she'll just attack us on sight, you never know. Maybe we can provoke her into attacking us in some way or another and then claim self-defense. Alright, what do we got here?
No business be there, Tino. Why, that little bastard. You tell him I'm coming for him, and when I find him, it'll be the beating of his miserable life. You don't. You're trying to...
Please, mister. You gotta get me out of here.
Okay. So, she doesn't attack you no matter what you say. That's fine. She's also in an enclosed space where no outside entities are gonna come and assault her for no reason. That's also fine. You know what? I think now is a really good time to talk about what murder is exactly. Alright, so to be found guilty of murder, or of any crime that isn't one of strict liability, there's 3 general elements the prosecution's gonna have to prove to secure a conviction. These are actus reus, which can be translated from pretentious to mean guilty act, mens rea, which can be similarly translated to mean criminal intent, and causation, which just means causation. For our purposes, the actus reus of a murder would be a killing, so a killing has to occur for us to get convicted. Pretty self-explanatory. Causation's also pretty easy. The prosecution just has to prove that whatever crime they're saying we committed, that we in fact caused it, right? Standard is usually, but for our conduct, this crime wouldn't have occurred. So, in order for us to be found guilty of murder, it would have to be said that but for our actions, the killing would not have happened. The one I really want to focus on is mens rea. See, every crime that has an intent or mens rea component has a specific mental state that the prosecution must prove the defendant had while they committed the crime. Some of those are specific intent, where it must be proven that you intended the consequence of your actions, and some of them are general intent, where it must be proven only that you intended to commit the act itself. For example, larceny in all of its degrees is a specific intent crime. Just taking something out of a store, for example, by mistake is not a larceny, but if you take something out of the store and you intend the consequence of that taking to be that you keep it indefinitely, that is a larceny. By contrast, something like DWI is a general intent crime. All the prosecution has to prove is that you intended to get behind the wheel and that you were in fact intoxicated. What does all this nerd shit matter? Well, murder is a specific intent crime, meaning that even if somebody ends up dead, and even if we caused it, if we didn't have the correct mental state, the specific intent to kill, then we're not guilty. Now that might sound like it makes this run pretty easy. We could just let off a bunch of ill-timed fireballs in close quarters and say oopsie daisy didn't mean to. Unfortunately, that sort of blanket loophole has already been thought of. Even if you don't intend to kill somebody, the statute makes a special exception where if you act recklessly with careless disregard for human life. Now, what is considered reckless disregard for human life? Well, thankfully, we have the model New York jury instructions to help clear things up. Here we can see that depraved indifference to human life is defined like a mens rea. It refers to a person's state of mind in recklessly engaging in conduct that creates a grave risk of death. A person with this state of mind simply does not care whether or not their actions will result in somebody dying. It reflects a, quote, wicked, evil, or inhuman state of mind as manifested by brutal, heinous, or despicable acts that are so morally bankrupt and blameworthy as to justify the same level of liability imposed on a person who kills intentionally. So, there goes our firebomb the orphanage idea. Safe to say spamming AoE damage spells in a small building for funsies would definitely be reckless disregard for human life. So, time to get creative. Maybe our flawless moral compass won't allow us to spam destruction magic at innocent bystanders in a closed building, but that doesn't apply to everyone in Skyrim. Certainly it doesn't apply to everything in Skyrim. Will be a mage build, but it's a run necessity.
If you must know, I'm trying to get this Ash Guardian spell to work. Something went wrong when I cast it. The creature is attacking everything in sight.
Oh, there it is. He's gonna kill me. Get out there, Krellin. Get out there. That handsome devil right there is the Ash Guardian, expert level conjuration spell, and Daedric Prince of plausible deniability. When you summon an Ash Guardian, the game checks to see if you have a Heartstone in your inventory. If you do, the Heartstone is consumed, and the Ash Guardian's friendly. If you don't have a Heartstone, on the other hand, well, whoopsie daisy. Oh, gee, Butterfingers. The Ash Guardian is summoned unbound, meaning he will attack literally anything in sight. Oh. Including you. Alright, now hear me out. Here's the new plan. Ash Guardian gets summoned through some series of events. We'll get back to that in a second. We happen to run into the nearest building that just so happens to be, unfortunately, the orphanage. The Ash Guardian, in the process of chasing us down, unfortunately, heavens forbid, sand blasts off an old lady's face. Bada bing, bada boom. We're golden. Just two major issues to get through first. One, we need a good reason to summon the Ash Guardian in the first place, because just plopping down this monstrosity in the middle of an orphanage is definitely reckless disregard for human life. And two, we have to actually get the spell. Now that shouldn't be a problem. Let's just go over and see who sells this spell so we can go Welp!
Come on, so you were helping.
You know, why even have these if you're gonna put the answer right above the door? Oh! Jump scare. Jesus.
You did it.
You're gonna... I mean, thank God. No! No! He's probably already dead. He probably got destroyed. Yeah. Well, that was gonna be a really interesting problem to overcome, but then he just ran into their swords. Nope. Nope. We almost got blah 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 blah. I know. Kill the dragon.
Retrieve the horn of Jurgen Windcore.
There it is.
I found out.
Are you kidding? Jesus Christ. Alright. Okay. Hello, boys.
You there. You're the one they call Dragonborn.
Yes, sir. They attacked me first. You saw it.
Good luck.
What brings you to this place?
Oh, that's right. I'm so high in sneak attack. That'll do it. Get logged, idiot.
It seems wrong.
Damn, you digging in me. You digging in me.
Father, I have returned.
Now I see why nobody goes to Innsmouth. You are ugly. You're gonna get back up and try to kill me. Right? You're not smart. Also, you're not a person. What do I care? You're fucking kidding me. You're kidding me. No, you're fucking kidding me. Oh. No, I gotta go through this whole fucking all over again. God damn it. Oh. Oh my God. Jesus. Okay, that was unnecessary. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Pipe down, bro. Nobody cares. This person is busy. I suppose you could put it like that. Alright, so only like 10 or so hours later, we've got ourselves the Ash Guardian. Now, the only question left is how are we gonna use it? I mean, let's be real, we know this spell can go rogue. What could possibly justify us throwing this down in the middle of a populated neighborhood? Well, lucky for us, Riften isn't just any neighborhood, it's a bad neighborhood. There are plenty of folks around here more than willing to put us in a life or death situation. Because yes, just throwing this spell around for no reason would be considered reckless, but throwing this spell out as a last-ditch effort to defend yourself from a deadly attacker while you run for the hills is certainly more justifiable. Remember, the bar for being found guilty of murder by reckless disregard of human life is really high. What the jury is looking for is a wicked, depraved, morally bankrupt state of mind where someone is willing to engage in severely reckless conduct because they just don't care if their actions result in death. Now, I couldn't find any direct New York precedent for this kind of case, but there are some cases out of neighboring states that I think are very interesting. Assuming, of course, an Ash Guardian murder would be probably a case of first impression, these sources from regional neighbors would have a significant sway on the court's decision if this case was actually going to trial. So, right off the bat, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, which is the state's highest court of appeal for this kind of case, decided in Commonwealth v. Fowlin that a criminal defendant cannot be held liable, at least not criminally, for death or injury to bystanders when using justifiable force in self-defense. The facts of the case are that Mr. Fowlin was present at a nightclub in Pennsylvania when 3 men decided to hassle him. 2 of them had guns and at least 1 had pepper spray. At some point, the men assault him. Pepper spray is sprayed into Mr. Fowlin's eyes, but even partially blinded, he can still see that one of the individuals is drawing a gun. Mr. Fowlin draws first, kills his assailants, and unfortunately strikes an unarmed bystander in the process. Despite the fact that in this case the defendant shot into what was arguably a pretty large crowd while he was arguably blind, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania still felt that he could not be charged with assault of a bystander. Their reasoning is that if a claim of self-defense is believed, it would, by necessity, negate the element of ill will, wickedness of disposition, hardness of heart, cruelty, or recklessness of consequences. Basically, what the court is saying is that a person who is truly engaging in self-defense against a lethal threat cannot be said to have the correct mental state or mens rea to commit an intentional killing. Or even, in this particular case, an intentional assault. Interestingly, it seems like the Massachusetts Supreme Court also is inclined to potentially follow this sort of rationale. In another case out of the Massachusetts Supreme Court, Commonwealth v. Conley, the defendant was arguing that the jury instructions given at their murder trial were insufficient to support a guilty verdict. Basically, the judge explained the law incorrectly, or at the very least shifted the burden of proof to the defendant from the prosecution in a way that is not acceptable. In reviewing whether the jury instruction on the definition of murder was valid, the court said that it was not enough that the jury was told that the prosecution has the burden of proving malice, or mental state in this case, beyond a reasonable doubt. Rather, the court said that the jury instruction should have included language indicating that if self-defense be established, it negates a finding of malice, or in other words, negates a finding of proper mens rea. There's actually a really interesting case going on about this topic right now in the Massachusetts Supreme Court, which is admittedly where I pulled the case law that I just mentioned to you from. The case itself, Commonwealth v. Kenneth Jose Santana-Rodriguez, is yet another unfortunate instance of a bystander being killed during a lawful self-defense. Oral argument was actually just heard last month, and I think the defense attorney did a phenomenal job explaining why a case like this should not be charged as a murder. Here, take a listen.
Obviously looking at the defendant as the victim in the first instance, that when they act in that moment, I think the Fowlin court in Pennsylvania said it best when they said, maybe all you can do in that moment when your life is imminently threatened is to muster some kind of defense to preserve your life. And split seconds that you have to do so. There's some recognition that you were defending yourself at the time you acted, and so we don't call that person a murderer. We say that that's the frailties of humanity, that somebody in that moment may act and go overboard in their defense, and we're not going to hold them as a murderer. And I think that's fair because when you look at it, I mean, when the defendant acts in an act of self-defense, self-defense negates malice as a first principle. So you are not acting with malice at the time you pull the trigger. And so to then impute malice on the back end when you miss, and even if you're somewhat reckless in that prospect, to then impute malice back. So if you start without malice, the ultimate ending should not then impute third-pronged malice back into the equation.
So, there we go. Grelid happens to die while we're exercising our justifiable right to self-defense, and we're good. Now we just need to find somebody with murderous intent so that we can humbly take that intent, double it, and give it to the next person. Very wholesome. Charity content. Mr. Beast-esque, you understand. Now, the original plan was to go all the way down to the Ratway, find somebody to attack me there, cast the Ash Guardian in the Ratway, then have it follow me all the way back up to the orphanage, in the door, and then hide like a little until it kills Grelid. The only problem is that the Ash Guardian is a big boy and just barely doesn't fit through the door. So, the new plan was to have somebody from the Ratway who could fit through the door follow me out into the street and then cast the Ash Guardian in the street. But as it turns out, I guess it's nice and cozy down there because nobody from the Ratway wants to leave, no matter what their size is. And it's at this point that I start thinking, wow, maybe I just wasted the past 15 hours of my life getting this spell. But thankfully, the wiki had some answers. Turns out it's actually way easier to get killed in this town than I even anticipated. If you go right over to this graveyard, there's a thief here who will attack you unprovoked for absolutely no reason. God, I love this city.
Oh, buddy.
So, clearly fearing for our lives and under intense pressure, we summon the Ash Guardian, deal with the thief, run in the other direction towards the nearest building that again just so happens to be the orphanage, try to hide, air quotes, from the Ash Guardian inside the building, and just sort of wait until he does his thing. Ideally, we'll hide well enough that the Ash Guardian will lose aggro on us and go after Grelid. And if that does happen, then not only will she be an unfortunate consequence of our justified lawful self-defense, but also we won't have caused her death, at least not directly. With these two elements combined, we'll have created our airtight defense. As you can see from the background here, it wasn't exactly the easiest way to go about this, but finally... Oh, we did it! Oh, we did it!
I knew you could do it. I just knew it. I knew the Dark Brotherhood would save me. Here, just like I promised. This should
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do anything. There was an absolute tragedy. You shouldn't pay me for this. There was a tragedy at the orphanage. Completely unpreventable tragedy. And just like that, after, 30 or so minutes into the video, we have successfully started the Dark Brotherhood questline. I promise though, from this point forward, things move way faster. We already laid down all the legal groundwork we need to examine all the kills for the rest of the questline. Real quick though, if you did happen to make it 30 minutes into the video, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you might actually enjoy this cross-section of legal and video game content, and if that is the case, do me a favor and smash that like button and hit that subscribe. I got lots of video ideas coming. I'm trying to see if this sort of content is something I could build the channel around, so if you can go ahead and let me know what the interest on these types of videos are, that'd be greatly appreciated. That said, it's been a long day. I think it's time we get some sleep. Ugh. I should have known better than to think we could rest. Alright, well, here's our next challenge. After waking up with the freak off, we realized that Astrid has locked the door to this small little shack and will not let us go until we kill at least one of these 3 people. Now, I knew this scene was coming from the start of the video. My plan was originally to just kill someone and use the defense of duress. Unfortunately, as I only remembered after getting here, duress is not a defense to murder. So, I tried the whole Ash Guardian thing again, but as it turns out, he only wanted the smoke from me. He wouldn't even touch another soul in the building. I guess he was mad about the whole being used as an accessory to murder thing. Whatever. We don't need him. It's time to introduce you all to the second ace up my sleeve, another key component of this run.
The Wabbatak! Huh?
Now, why this staff in particular? Well, because most of the time it throws out a high damage spell, so you can use it in self-defense and be reasonably justified. But sometimes it'll turn your target into a Dremora Lord, completely at random in an unpredictable way. We can use this thing to make what I think is a pretty airtight case, so let's go back to the cabin and lay it all out. We hear Astrid's plan and immediately decide this is crazy and we're not going to kill anybody. We turn our most powerful Daedric artifact on her in self-defense and, unfortunately, it turns her into a demon, who then proceeds to kill everyone else inside the cabin. Oopsies. Oh shit. That Dremora Lord then promptly turns back into Astrid, who's kind enough to unlock the door for us, and we, probably now suffering from severe PTSD, hightail it out of that shack as fast as humanly possible. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend there's a real-life case allegory for turning your assailant into a bloodthirsty demon, but we were acting in self-defense, which negates mens rea, and we didn't actually hurt anybody, which more or less negates causation. So, as far as I can tell, we're good to keep going. Regardless, whatever happened in that shack, I guess we're into it, because we immediately walk ourselves right over to the sanctuary, meet Astrid, and get our first contract from Nazir. Alright, this is where things get interesting. We now have 3 targets we need to get dead, and we need to get to work. First up is Batilde, and she makes things real easy for us. We introduce ourselves as an assassin of the Dark Brotherhood, and she introduces her pickaxe to the front of our skull. Luckily, we came prepared, play a game of rock pickaxe bound sword, and emerge victorious. Now, here's the big question. Batilde would likely say that she acted in self-defense, and we're gonna say we acted in self-defense. So, who's justified? Now, in New York, that's easy. We're one of the minority states that has a duty to retreat rule. Basically, before using lethal force, you have to try and escape the situation, if at all possible. Batilde totally could have done this, and so definitely would be the initial aggressor in this case. But even if we use a Chad stand your ground state, like Texas for example, I think we still have this in the bag. Even in places where you don't have to retreat, your use of self-defense must be both proportional and in response to an imminent threat of lethal force. I think Batilde would have a hard time arguing that a proportional response to a verbal threat with no display of a weapon was to try strip mining for diamonds inside of our frontal lobe. And as a nice little cherry on top, you don't even get a bounty for this one, so the game agrees, we're right, we're moving on. Next up is Notorious Papias, and unlike our last target, who had a bit of an anger issue, this guy just runs away from us. Now this could have been a problem for us if our boy had the common sense to not run directly into 12 angry mud crabs. They start attacking immediately, and you would think that'd be the end of them, but here's where we learn about a special mechanic called protected NPCs. Basically, some NPCs in the game are unkillable unless you deal the final blow, probably to protect them against whatever shenanigans happen out in the wilds of Skyrim. Put a pin in that, it'll be somewhat relevant later. Regardless, you know how this goes. Self-defense from the mud crabs, accidentally catch Papias on the backswing. Oh god, so sad. Too bad Malice is negated during any self-defense. Moving on. Oopsie. Oopsie daisy. Last up is Narfi, who has the good sense not to attack first, but not the good sense not to live next to 2 pissed off cave bears. Oh my god, there's a bear. There's a bear. Why are you here? Oh my god. After more than a bit of coaxing, we can introduce our lovely friend Narfi to those cave bears and... oh no, tragedy, self-defense, casualties, yada yada, you get it. Oops, oh, sorry. Alright, back to the sanctuary, meet the clown, and get our first real contract. Our first target, Elaine Dufont. And thank the nine, this is an absolute layup. The dude's a literal bandit. You show up to the ruins where his gang is hiding out and they attack you on sight. I mean, this is a public service, if anything. He's gonna try to kill me. Oh my god, we love it. Killing justified. Next. Now, importantly, the gang does not own these ruins. We're not trespassing or anything, so they have no legal right to defend with lethal force from us just walking towards them. And again, that's pretty obvious. They're bandits. They're called bandits. Every single one of them attacks us first, including Dufont. No real issue here. Yeah, that's it. He just... wow, that made my life easy. Next few quests are just running some errands, so not much to report here. Go cuddle with the Night Mother, talk to this guy, get the amulet, go talk to Astrid, go to this guy, talk to him about the amulet, go back and talk to Astrid about the guy who talked to you about the amulet, book Astrid's 2 o'clock meeting, file her taxes, get her a venti cold brew, yada yada yada. Once we're done playing Secretary Simulator, we finally have our next contract. And this one's gonna be a doozy.
Then we're ready to begin. Or, more specifically, you're ready to begin. After all, you're the one Mother spoke.
The job is to kill Vittoria Vici while she's at her wedding, preferably up on the balcony. What makes this so tough is that I guess they went with the budget venue package because they picked this tiny corner in the middle of the city of Solitude to have their wedding with maybe like 5 attendees. There's no way to make these poor souls mad enough at you to swing first. In fact, there's nobody in the city of Solitude that I could find willing to swing first for no reason. Since it's the middle of a city, there's also no bears or random mud crabs we can rely on to get the job done, and no matter what you do, this lady will not divert from her predetermined path up to the balcony and back to the chair. We could try justifying summoning the Ash Guardian outside the city walls, but even if it follows us into the city, it will not survive the onslaught of the Solitude Guard long enough to make it back to the wedding in one piece. So, well, I guess that's it. If we can't get anything to attack us, then we can't justify a death, and if we can't justify the death, then that's a murder. I mean, we had a good run, right? 1 murder in the entire quest line, that's not so bad. We got really far. Unless there was some kind of cataclysmic event that would befall the city of Solitude that would require every single person in the city to take up arms and try to defend it by any means necessary, all casualties justified. I just don't see how we get around this one. But those kinds of natural disasters, forces of nature, don't just fall out of the sky, right? Yeah, you want me. You want me, buddy. Oh, he's coming. Come on. Come on, big guy. Psych! You didn't think I'd give up that easily, did ya? Now, I know you're all wondering. How did you do it? Well, as it turns out, as soon as you kill your first dragon, you have a random chance of encountering a wild dragon at any point during the game. The longer you go without seeing one, the more likely it is to happen, and I had not seen a wild dragon this entire playthrough so far. Also, apparently fast traveling all over the place makes it more likely that you'll encounter a dragon after your fast travel. So, naturally, I just sat for an unfathomable length of time and fast traveled in between Solitude and the nearest map points until eventually is that him? Oh my god, please. 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 Oh my god. 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 It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It's finally happening. It's finally happening. There he is. Where is he? Oh, she's a beauty. We got a dragon. But the job wasn't done because then I had to lure that dragon into the city and all the way back to where the wedding was being held. Now, I tried to get the dragon to kill Vittoria, but as it turns out, she's one of those protected NPCs. So I waited for the dragon to hover overhead while valiantly defending this fine city from the dragon scourge. Took a few pot shots with fireball, accidentally miss, and oh god, how unfortunate, it looks like we have another casualty. Now, normally I'd call throwing fireballs around willy-nilly a bit reckless, but this is a dragon. There's a dragon attacking the city. Okay. No matter what you do in self-defense, it's gonna be justified. It's a dragon. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, right? Anyway, long story short, Vittoria never stood a goddamn chance. Next. Alright, let's cut right to the chase here. Our next target is Gaius Morrow, head of the Emperor's security detail. This one's kind of a good news, bad news situation. Good news is that we can get Gaius to attack us by just talking to him. Bad news is that the thing that we have to talk to him about is a credible threat on the Emperor's life. So, million-dollar question, is Gaius justified here? And honestly, I think the answer is no. Hear me out. Law enforcement of all types are only supposed to use deadly physical force when they deem it reasonably necessary to prevent death or serious bodily harm. If we're judging Gaius based on the standard of a law enforcement officer, which I think we should, he does not have justifiable reasons to use lethal force in this context. Really, all we do is just make a verbal threat and walk away. We don't draw any weapon, and we certainly don't attack him. Gaius could try to make an arrest like other guards in Skyrim do, but instead he tries to kill us right off the bat for a threat that is certainly not imminent. While it's typically next to impossible to mount a successful self-defense claim against an officer, technically speaking, you are allowed to defend yourself from any use of non-lawful force. Now, the problem is most times a cop uses physical force, it's going to be considered lawful. But in this particular context, where Gaius is immediately jumping to lethal force in an unlawful manner, and again, your only option is defense or death, I think you have a good shot, at least in my opinion, of mounting the self-defense claim successfully. And I think that's our case right there, but I wanted to make this one even cleaner. So I got a bit creative. See, Gaius visits a lot of the holds of Skyrim in his trip around the province, and two that are important for my purposes are Whiterun and Riften. See, those are where the companions for Whiterun and the Thieves Guild for Riften are located. And if you are attacked by Gaius in either of these cities while you belong to either of these guilds, the city's respective guild will come to your defense and attack Gaius for you. I chose the companions because I think push comes to shove, they'd make much better witnesses in my case in chief than, well, the Thieves Guild. Lots of cross-exam material there. Yeah, anyway, so I go into Whiterun, join the companions, and then wait for Gaius to get there. Then once he does, we have a nice, pleasant chat about current affairs and politics, at which point he flies off the handle for some reason unbeknownst to me, and the companions come to my defense. Now, Gaius is a protected NPC, so I still have to land the final blow, but in this particular case, since the companions are helping me out, I only have to land... this means not only do I have a ton of witnesses who participated in my defense willing to testify that Gaius struck first without justification, but also I never have to even use a deadly weapon, which means my use of force is non-lethal in my own defense, and that just makes it even easier to come out of this situation without catching a charge. And just chef's kiss, cherry on top, you don't even get a bounty for killing Gaius in this way, in the middle of the city. So game agrees with me, I'm justified. On to the next one.
Your return. Yes, I know. But
Love
you
that
should
for
know
me.
that we have a more pressing matter to deal with. It's... Cicero. There's been an incident.
No.
You should proceed into the sanctuary.
He's so level-headed.
I'll let Astrid explain.
Okay, first brief intermission while Cicero goes full Joker mode. Obviously, we don't kill him because we don't have to. Not much to report here. Moving on. Getting close to the end here, our next target is the Gourmet. Super talented chef who we need to impersonate to get close to the Emperor. Only problem is nobody actually knows the Gourmet's real identity except for maybe one super fan, an Anton Varane. So before getting to the Gourmet, we first have to interrogate Anton Varane. And since we can't leave any witnesses, we've got to kill him. And yes, the game will not let you progress unless you kill him. But I mean, come on, how hard could one more death be? So we head over to Markarth's capital and find Anton Varane inside the palace. First instinct was to try and threaten him and see if he attacks us, but unfortunately, he doesn't. So, no big deal, just gotta find something else to attack us and then make him an unfortunate casualty. Now, after you threaten him, he does run, so I try sort of herding him toward the exit, but unfortunately, he will not leave the palace. So, okay, no big deal again, just gotta find something in the palace that will attack us, and thankfully this palace happens to be inside of a Dwemer ruin. And oh my god, wouldn't you know it, the court wizard is trying to clear out a giant spider infestation that's right inside the building. Perfect. I go in there, get a few spiders to chase me, run toward the exit, come out the door, and they're not following me. Why are they not following me? Okay. Maybe they lose aggro to protect the NPCs in the palace. That's fine. I'll cast an Ash Guardian at the spiders and then have the Ash Guardian follow me through the door. I've seen him do that before. I know he can follow me through doors. That has to work, right? Oh. Okay. Alright, well, maybe there's some other kind of threat around here. Except no. All we have is a museum, the spot where you can find out that somebody's been eating dead bodies, gross, but no aggro. And that's it, really. Okay, wait, new plan. What if I get Anton to go in the room with the spiders? Maybe he won't leave the palace, but maybe I can convince him to enter the doorway to that room if I chase him over there. So I do my best Border Collie impression and I run him all the way over to the door, and as it turns out, he won't go through either. But this is where I figure it out, right? I got it now. The door is locked. NPCs cannot go through locked doors unless you have the key. The court wizard gives you the key, but Anton doesn't have it, so he can't go through the door. Neither can the spiders, neither can your Ash Guardian. So perfect. I reverse pickpocket the key onto Anton and then chase him over there. Surely if he has the key, he'll go into that room to escape me, and the spiders will get him. Go in the door. Go in the door. You have the key. Nope! When I tell you, I tried for hours to get this guy to go through this door. He won't do it. He won't do it. So that's it. No, seriously this time. I'm not doing a bit, like that's it. There's nothing I can do. Nothing will attack me in there. I have no defense. I have nothing. I cannot believe I wasted this much time doing this stupid video just to get hung up at the third to last mission. I mean, what am I... Hey, who's that?
Force? Strange. Oh, I think you dropped this. Some kind of note. Looks important.
So we have to kill Anton. So what? Like I've always said, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. And would you believe me if I told you I have a way out of this? Strap in, folks, because you're about to witness the ass pull of the century. See, there is one hostile encounter that happens in Markarth, a killing done by a forsworn agent in the middle of town. Investigating this murder leads you to find out that the Forsworn are a rebellion of native Reachmen dedicated to overthrowing the city government of Markarth and taking back their lands. Except they're not, actually. Their leader is taking orders from this guy, the most powerful and wealthiest man in the city, a private prison owner.
There's no rest in your hide in a cell in this prison. Here you work. You got it?
I love my escapist fantasy. Except apparently, the Forsworn's leader as of late has gone a bit rogue and actually decided that overthrowing Markarth would be pretty cool, actually. And he kills this dude's wife, so naturally he's pissed.
Oh well. My wife. They killed her.
Anyway, once we figure this all out, it's very obvious that we can't be left alive, so Mr. Korsivic here decides to go ahead and frame us for a murder and throw us in his comfy private prison under the ground. You have the option to try and resist this arrest, but if you do, the entire city guard becomes hostile towards you. Now, stick with me, because I promise I'm going somewhere with this. Once you get down to Sidna Mine, the private prison, you have the option of ending this quest one of two ways. Option 1, you can side with Madanach, the leader of the Forsworn, and help him take the city. Option 2... Come on, keep them hands up, big fella. Keep them hands up. Lock your face. Come on, it's not that hard. Come on, it's not that hard. Hit me. Hit me. Oh my god. You have your landed one. Oh, get out of here. Get him out of here. Now, you might think, oh, you can't kill Madanach. That's a murder. Wait. It's not. And we're getting to why. Now get ready for this. Because if you decide to kill Madanach, old Mr. Slave Driver here is so thankful when you make it out of jail that he gets you an honest to God, no exaggeration, no embellishment, executive pardon.
He's dead. You've done a great service to the Silver Blood family. I've had the Jarl officially pardon you and take care of a few other loose ends. You're innocent. As innocent as anyone can be in this city.
Yep, that's right. You heard the man. Innocent. Innocent as anyone can be. Now, obviously, this pardon is meant to make sure that you defending yourself from the guards after you get framed does not result in a massive multi-tens of thousands gold bounty after you get out of the prison. But it doesn't just apply to the murder or harming of any guards. It pardons all crimes that you commit during the course of the quest. So, if during the course of our defense from the guards we just also happen to kill Anton as well, his murder is also pardoned. On top of that, you kill Madanach before you're pardoned too, so his death is also covered. Oh, but wait, I hear you say. Surely this wouldn't work in the real world. I mean, we're going to use Skyrim's law and logic now. We've been talking about real world law this whole time. Now we're going to magically say the Jarl can pardon you. Oh, don't worry. This works in real life too. As I'm sure you're all aware by now, for various reasons, the executive branch is allowed to grant pardons. In the US's case, this is the president, but can also be at the governor level. And I'm going to say that in Skyrim, a Jarl is pretty analogous to the role of a governor in their executive capacity. So there's precedent in US law for pardons being issued, but what is a pardon exactly? Well, generally a pardon is described as an act of executive clemency, which basically means something like an act of mercy or lenience. If you've already been found guilty of a crime, it doesn't go ahead and remove that guilty conviction, but it does remove the criminal penalties associated with that conviction. Now, the Supreme Court, the highest court in the US, determined that the executive pardon power can be used at any time, not just after conviction, but before conviction as well. So, if we're being held in Sidna Mine pre-trial, which must be the case because no time passes in between being framed and getting locked up, and we don't have a chance to have that trial because we kill Madanach before it happens. Then, if we're pardoned before being found guilty and we accept that pardon, then technically speaking, we were never found guilty. And because we'll never be found guilty, we never committed the murder. With Anton dead and our name clear, it's time to get the gourmet, and compared to his biggest fan, this guy's a pushover. Skyrim's top chef is staying in the Nightgate Inn, and at random points during the day, he'll just venture on outside to admire the view. Which is not a great idea for him, because the gourmet is not a protected NPC.
Damn, why do I feel bad about that one? He's the only guy I didn't even kill. Oh, he's gonna... Oh, whatever.
Anyway, now that he's dead, it's on to our last target. The Emperor of Tamriel. Only an hour into the video. God, what am I doing? Might as well finish out this challenge now. We go ahead and roll up to Solitude, present the gourmet's identification to get into the Emperor's palace, and cook him his final meal. Now, obviously we can't add the poison, that'd be murder, so here's the situation we wind up in. We've got the Emperor and a few noblemen surrounded by a couple of Penitus Oculatus guards in this locked room. There is no way in and no way out once you start this quest. The doors are locked, and until you kill the Emperor, you can't leave and you can't progress the game. So most straightforward plan is to get the guards in here mad at us somehow, but without bringing something in from the outside, I just don't see how... Oh, no. Not again. Stay back, Mr. Emperor. Oh. All right. So there is one more key component to the run. We need to be able to turn into a werewolf. Reason being, we don't have to kill anybody to get the transformation. Yes, even in Whiterun, when you turn into a werewolf for the first time, you don't have to kill anybody. And when you transform, even if you don't harm anybody in the area, everyone still turns hostile towards you. So we get into the Emperor's dining room, lose control of our alpha transformation, and all of the guards just simply can't handle our aura. We wait around, without hurting anybody, for the form to go away, but the guards are still hostile. And we're still locked in the palace, so we can't leave or retreat or anything. We have to defend ourselves or we're dead. But only the guards are attacking us. So how do we get around this to get the Emperor? Well, we pull out our old friend the Wabbajack again. No, please, I can't get out. Don't make me do it. Hit one of the guards.
There he is.
Go 2 for 2 on Dremora Lords. And then that guard, as a Dremora Lord, kills the Emperor. There he goes. Oh my god, there he goes. That's it. There he goes. Oh my god. This is the most contrived. So we're acting in clear self-defense. It's not us who kills the Emperor, and in fact we don't kill anybody in this building, because as soon as the Emperor dies, we book it. The guard who we transformed even turns back into himself after a minute, so really we didn't do any actus reus that could be considered a murder here, so we're good to go. Alright, so we run back to the sanctuary, find out Ashford betrayed us, yada yada yada. We gotta kill the real Emperor now. I just want to get this over with already.
You look like someone who can hold their liquor.
Oh, I would, but I have more important things to do right now. You know what?
Reminds me. 2 loopholes. We find out he's on his ship and do a little trespassing to get ourselves over there. Now, the kicker is that we have no good reason to be on this ship, so even if the guards attack us first, they have every right to. They're trying to defend the Emperor. It's his ship, it's their ship, we're trespassing. So we gotta make sure we don't make them too mad.
How much magic do I have? 290. I need 5.
Come on, let's get something to eat. Is someone there? Is someone there?
That's crazy.
I'm sure I heard something. What was that? Did you hear something?
I'm hiding behind this cheese wedge for dear life. Oh my god, there's one.
Over now. The lieutenant said you could see the smoke from Whiterun. Yeah, I'm glad we can finally stand down. Getting tired of looking over my shoulder all the time. Nothing to do now but sit back, relax.
14. Wait. Lock in. Oh, there's lock in. Wow. Okay. Alright. There. Oh my god.
Once we finally get into the Emperor's chambers, this is the final problem that we're faced with. If you do this quest the normal way, the Emperor calmly accepts his fate. He doesn't fight back. He's inside a locked room, meaning nothing can follow me through the door, and there's no guards inside, just you and the Emperor. So we get to brainstorming. My first idea was to turn into a werewolf, so maybe he'd run outside and then I could figure out something to do with the guards, maybe summon an Ash Guardian by some means or another. I tried luring the guards inside, which didn't work, but as it turns out, I didn't even need to.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! He doesn't cower. He's got a weapon. Oh my god. He pulled that axe out of his asshole. And it's over. He attacked. Yep. Yeah, that's right. Bro keeps that thing on him. He could have fought back this whole time. Didn't choose to. What a legend. Anyway, I knew at this point, once they got him to attack me, that there was something I could work out. But what happened next? I don't think I ever could have anticipated. Wait, what just happened? Whoa, wait, what just happened? Huh? What? Wait, where am I? What just happened? Did I break the game? Whoa, okay. So I'm turning back. Okay, now I'm turned back. He pulls out his weapon. I'm running away. What? What? Holy shit. Buddy, you are real bad at your fucking job. Yup. Just like that. done in by his own guards. Don't ask me how. And I really don't care. I legitimately didn't do that one. And I'll take it because that means we did it. We're done. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I know it's a long one. I hope you learned something. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. And well, I'll see you next time. That's it. We did it. We did it. I can't believe it. Well, oh shit. Oh.
Well, well, aren't we the overachiever? When most would speak, you listen. You think. You understand that the only thing that matters is you
Nice. Let's
following
fucking
my
go.
orders. To kill, of course. I would like to in the southwest when